Tonight could be the night that laid the groundwork for the future of the St. Louis Blues. Armed with 3 first-round picks, Doug Armstrong is not short on options. Our Corey Miller is in Nashville covering the draft and caught up with Army ahead of this big night. Corey, take it away.
Thanks, Frank. And Music City sure seems like the perfect place for the Blues to steal the show at the NHL Draft. Now, for the first time since 2008, they have a top 10 pick. They actually have picks number 10, number 25, and number 29 tonight in the first round, barring a trade, and Doug Armstrong has already been busy. Earlier this week, he dealt with the Flyers to get veteran center Kevin Hayes for just a 6th-round draft pick next year. Armstrong could do some more wheeling and dealing ahead of their picks tonight, but as it stands, he likes the opportunity this draft brings, even if it's a bit different than what the Blues are used to.
You know, when you're picking in our normal comfortable spots in the 20s, which we like being because we've had good seasons, you don't really dial in till pick 15 because, you know, you don't dial in for an hour and a half on something you can't control. Now we're going to dial in at pick 5. As I said, I think there's probably going to be 4 guys that everyone's comfortable going to go, and then it's going to move around. And when it starts to move around and a player may drip that we like, we might start talking about moving up, and that's starting at, you know, pick 6, 7. So we have to be dialed in and ready to go early tonight.
Now, I said the last time they had a top 10 pick, it was 2008. They had the 4th overall pick. They took Alex Pietrangelo. That worked out pretty well, future captain and Stanley Cup champion. I asked Armstrong if he thinks there'll be a player of Pietrangelo's caliber available at 10 tonight. He didn't want to go that far, didn't want to put that pressure on the pick, but he's confident he'll get a guy he likes. That's the story from Bridgestone Arena here in Nashville with photographer Eric Voss. I'm Corey Miller. We'll send it back to the station.
Running.
Doug Armstrong knows this can't be a 3-year rebuild. You're allowed to have a clunker of a season, but I don't think Army is going to allow 2. The rebuild has already begun, and tonight it's the NHL Draft in Nashville. Let's head there now and check in with our Corey Miller. Corey.
Thanks, Frank. And with 3 first-round picks tonight, the Blues have a lot of power in this draft. It won't be long till they're on the clock for that 10th overall pick. I talked with Doug Armstrong earlier today about the anxiousness of this night and how he sees this class.
You get here Sunday and you do a lot of calls, and then usually around 1 o'clock, which is right around the corner, the phone's not going to ring. Everyone's done their work, and I'll lie in my room and I'll think of things that we could have done differently, should have done, or what might happen tonight. This is our scouting staff, and I think the hockey world in general thinks this is a strong draft. We think there's good depth there. What you don't want to do is put too much pressure on these kids when you draft them, but we think we're going to get a player in the top 10 on our list.
There was just a big roar in Bridgestone Arena a couple of minutes ago. Of course, it was from the Chicago Blackhawks selecting sensation Connor Bedard with the 1st overall pick. That is a name Blues fans should definitely get to know. He'll probably be terrorizing them for quite a few years. That's the story from Nashville with photographer Eric Voss. I'm Corey Miller. Frank, we'll send it back to you at the station.
All right, Corey, thanks. We'll see you at 10 o'clock tonight. It was their worst season in 15 years, and if you know Doug Armstrong, he simply won't put up with bad hockey. So last night, he picked up a quality player in Kevin Hayes, and tonight was the NHL Draft. Let's head live to Nashville and check in with Corey Miller, who has provided coverage for us throughout the day. Corey, take it away.
Thanks, Frank, and it was a busy day for Doug Armstrong and company here in Nashville. No trade drama to report, but 3 first-round picks to make, including their first top 10 pick since 2008. With that number 10 overall pick in this year's draft, the Blues took Dalibor Dvorsky. He's an 18-year-old forward from Slovakia who many predicted wouldn't even be available to the Blues at number 10. So what does he know most about the Blues is what I asked him after he was drafted. And of course, it's the magical 2019 Stanley Cup run that he said was, quote, one of the best ever.
Yeah, I've heard it's an awesome city. And, you know, it's just a great organization, and I'm so proud to be there. You know, they had probably the best Stanley Cup run ever, what I remember. So, no, I'm just super honored to be in the blue. I will just do anything to win every single game, and that's what I'm going to try to do with the Blues. Just try to, like I said, win every game and be the best player possible. And I'm just so looking forward to come to St. Louis and meet all of you fans.
The Blues rounded out their first round with a pair of Swedes. Forward Otto Stenberg and defenseman Theo Lindstein with picks 25 and 29 respectively. The fellow countrymen are good friends and at a nice moment after the draft, realizing they were going to be teammates in the Blues organization. So no trades tonight. We know Doug Armstrong likes to make some trades. Maybe we'll see some tomorrow. He did tell us afterward he was very happy all three guys he picked were still available to the Blues at those respective spots. That's the story here from Nashville with photographer Eric Voss. I'm Corey Miller. We'll send it back to the station.
All right, good stuff, Corey. There are two things about this NHL draft. Number one, every team thinks they nailed it. And number two, no casual fan has really seen any of these players, so who knows how each team did. What we can do as sports reporters is simply give you some names and a little background. A pretty good balance of picks for the Blues on day 2 of the draft today, with 3 defensemen and 3 forwards. Size is served. All 6 players selected today were 6 feet or bigger. Corey Miller breaks down the picks from day 1.
Dalibor Dvorsky may have been the biggest name the Blues took on Wednesday night, but at the end of the first round they took a pair of Swedes who will once again team up, this time for the Blues.
Yeah, is Lindstein picked by St. Louis?
Yeah, just now.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, we're really good friends. We know each other very well from the national team back home, and we have played against each other for a few times back home in Sweden. So that's very, very cool. Funny thing, that's my former class back home in school was named after St. Louis, the city. So that's pretty cool.
Terrific player, leadership, two-way ability with some scoring finish. Very efficient player with his puck movement and his hockey sense smarts. Needs some physical maturity, but he'll get that in due course.
I guess you can just call it a coincidence that earlier this week the team hired their former Swedish star Alexander Steen to help develop European prospects. Reporting in Nashville, I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports. If you were hoping for some chaos at the NHL Draft last night, you were likely disappointed. If you were hoping to see a bunch of major prospects put on the Blue Note sweater, well, the team had you covered there. The draft wrapped up today in Nashville with the Blues making 6 more picks in addition to their 3 first-rounders last night. You see their names right there on the screen. I was in Nashville for the draft and talked to those first-rounders and the guys who selected them. Unlike the Broadway streets in Nashville, Wednesday night was quiet inside Bridgestone Arena. No trades in the first round. But it did bring 3 first-round picks to St. Louis, including a top 10 steal.
Usually you see picks flying back and forth and everything. It was just a quiet night. People were, I think, excited about the depth of the draft. The old, I can't believe he was there when we picked.
Makes tremendous plays, makes players around himself better. Lots of potential there. We really like the player.
I will just do anything to win every single game, and that's what I'm going to try to do with the Blues. Just try to, like I said, win every game and be the best player possible. And I'm just so looking forward to come to St. Louis and meet all of you fans.
Two-way forward. I think I have my strength in the offensive zone to create scoring chances. Funny thing, that's my former class back home in school was named after St. Louis, the city. So that's pretty cool.
There's that type of draft where the left-hand column, our first column, was going like very quick. Usually you have some crazy ones that come in from the second or third column, but today it was a lot of mocks were pretty bang on.
All 3 first-round picks are expected to be in St. Louis for prospect camp this week to meet their new teammates and organization.